Hello and welcome to HullKR.tv. It's the start of the Stobart Super League season as the Robins take on the reigning champions, the Leeds Rhinos, at a bitterly cold Carnegie Headingley Stadium. Rovers made lots of changes to the squad during the close season, but they will line up as follows this evening. In the backs, at fullback, wearing number 1, sponsored by Harrison Solway Logistics, making his Super League debut, Shannon McDonnell. Wearing number 2, on the right wing, sponsored by EYS, Craig Hall. Wearing the number 3 shirt in the centres, sponsored by Malcolm West, Chris Wellham. Wearing 4, sponsored by Higher Base, Jake Webster. Wearing number 5, sponsored by EYS, making his Hull Kingston Rovers Super League debut, David Hodgson. At standoff, wearing 19, sponsored by JC Services, Scott Morrell. Scrum half, wearing number 7, sponsored by JC Services, Michael Dobson. And in the forwards, in the front row, wearing number 8, sponsored by Cleartech Waste, Joel Clinton, making his Super League debut for the Robins, wearing number 14, hooker Lincoln Withers, sponsored by KMS Facilities Group. Yet another debutant in the Super League for Hull Kingston Rovers, wearing 23, sponsored by the Fans Internet Forum, the Beast from the East, Mickey Payer, making his Hull Kingston Rovers Super League debut. In the second row, wearing number 18, sponsored by Quick Turf, Graham Horn. In the second row, making his Rovers Super League debut, sponsored by Primary Technologies, Konstantin Mika. And at loose forward, wearing number 13, sponsored by the 1 Point, Reese Lovegrove. On the bench for the Robins this evening, wearing number 9, sponsored by A1 Tyre Services Limited, Josh Hodgson. Wearing number 10, sponsored by AA Jones Electrical, Scott Taylor. Wearing number 20, sponsored by Adges Buses, Jordan Cox. And wearing number 22, sponsored by IRS, Scott Wheeldon. And introducing the new head coach of Hull Kingston Rovers, taking charge of his first Super League game, Craig Sandercock. The Leeds Rhinos, the reigning Super League champions, they will line up as follows. At fullback will be Brent Webb. On the wings, Ryan Hall and Lee Smith. In the centres, Zach Hardacre and Callum Watkins. The half-back partnership of Kevin Sinfield making his 400th appearance for the Leeds Rhinos, alongside Danny Maguire at scrum half. In the forwards for the Rhinos, they'll be led in the front row by Ryan Bailey, Jamie Peacock with Rob Bowe at hooker, Jamie Jones Buchanan and Brett Delaney make up the second row, Carl Ablett is the loose forward. On the bench for the Rhinos will be Kylie Luluai, Paul McShane, Wella Haraki and Daryl Griffin, Leeds coached by Brian McDermott. Today's referee Phil Bentham, with touch judges George Stokes and Peter Brook. Kick-off just moments away here at the Headingley Carnegie Stadium. The fireworks are erupting into the sky. The two sets of players will emerge shortly onto the pitch. Great atmosphere inside the stadium, as always. An absolute army of Hull Kingston Rovers fans have travelled over. They're housed on that western terrace here at this famous rugby league stadium. Big evening for the likes of Shannon McDonnell, David Hodgson, Lincoln Withers, Mickey Payer, Graham Horne and Con Meeker. Their first taste of Super League in the colours of Hull Kingston Rovers. This game was subject to a pitch inspection just an hour or so before kick-off. It took both coaches, both clubs to agree that they did want to play the game. Phil Bentham, the referee, he left the decision to the two clubs and they said, yep, let's do this. Onto the field come Hull Kingston Rovers, led out by Michael Dobson. He's the stand-in skipper in the absence of Ben Galea. Rovers wearing their traditional all-white strip with the red band across the chest. Chris Wellham just trots over to the touchline. He signed a new 3-year deal during the week. He'll remain a Robin for the next 4 seasons, already had a year left to run. Great news, one of the best centres in the Super League. Big night for Scott Morrell, the former Leeds Rhino, as Leeds are making Hull Kingston Rovers wait. Rovers have already been out around a minute or so. We've yet to see the emergence from the tunnel of the reigning champions. They'll be led by their talisman, Kevin Sinfield. Not sure if this is a deliberate ploy to just ensure that Rovers are in the cold just that slightly bit longer, because the conditions, the temperatures are absolutely freezing. Here come the Rhinos. Kevin Sinfield leads them out, followed by Rob Burrow, Jamie Peacock. Leeds wearing the old blue strip with the yellow band across the chest with the yellow armlets. And here comes Phil Bentham wearing the green and yellow refereeing strip. So we are just moments away now. It's going to be Leeds to kick this game off. Rovers will be attacking the Western Terrace, where their army of supporters are housed behind the posts. So Kevin Sinfield puts the ball down on the centre spot, gets the signal from Phil Bentham, strikes the ball, and the Craig Sandercock revolution is underway. Rovers with the first drive in. It's that man, Mickey Payer. He made such a big impression in that game at the KC Stadium. Withers moves the ball centre field. Good, strong looking run from Joel Clinton. Takes 4 tacklers to halt the momentum of the former Penrith and Brisbane man. Withers again, good ground made, solid shot, went in on Graham Horne. It was Callum Watkins, who really does look to have put some size on during the close season. Payer moves the ball in field with Craig Hall. The Robins are just a metre or so from halfway. It's a busy start from Lincoln Withers. Good ball, Lovegrove in that centre position. Just stumbled as he took the ball. Looks as though Lovegrove may be playing right centre. Jake Webster over on that wing. The kick will be allowed to bounce by Brett Webb. Dangerous tactic, but he found the support from Lee Smith, and he eventually gives the ball wide to Ryan Hall. He takes the tackle. Leeds pinned down just 22 metres away from their own line. Rovers have formed the defensive line. Into the tackle immediately is Clinton. Good solid work by the Rovers defensive line. Burrow, short pass, brings in the big man, the England skipper Jamie Peacock. Just a minute and a half played. First half break, Carl Ablett offloads to Brett Webb. He has support from Burrow. Burrow is cut down by the tackle of Craig Hall, but Leeds made all of 50 metres in that attack, and Rovers will concede the first penalty of the game. It's only 25 metres out from the posts. The break down the centre of the field was by Ablett. He had support, and Rovers did well to scramble back. Kevin Sinfield, right-footed, punts the ball into touch, and with just over 2 minutes played, Rovers are defending their own line already in this game. It's with Brett Delaney. He drives the ball in towards the post. Four men just spin him to the ground. Burrow's there at dummy half. He goes to his left-hand side, finds his partner in crime, Maguire. Good defence from Craig Hall. That's gone loose. Did it go forward? Yes, it did. Well done, Craig Hall. He read that play superbly. Forces the error, and the first real try-scoring chance of the game. It comes to nothing, courtesy of that good defence by Hall. Two sets of players just pat down. Dobson has ball in hand. He will feed the scrum. Can see Lincoln Withers in at the base. He's gone to the short side. Oh, and Craig Hall has dropped the ball on the first tackle. Well, he possibly saved a try just moments ago. Needs to do the same again now, because Leeds have a set of 6. Just 10 metres away from Hulkingston Rovers try line. I feel sure they will put their set move on, will the Rhinos. So another test of the Robins defence. Into the scrum it goes, it's out, Sinfield collects, but Bentham not happy with something there. Just asks the two packs to bed in once again. Feel certain the ball will come the same way. It does, it's with Sinfield. Good pass finds Brett Webb. Great read from Wellham. Stops the New Zealand fullback making any real progress. Shows some aggression in the tackle as well, does Wellham. Once again he backs up. Rovers just need to be careful. They don't allow the Leeds Rhinos to offload. Phil Bentham happy to take Rovers back to 10. Here come Leeds again. Maguire dummies, brings in Ryan Bailey on the bump. Number 16. Has his critics, but a very, very solid, capable player. The Rhinos now, they're stacking up on that short side, over that left-hand side. Rovers have just umbrellaed across and closed down the options. They'll come back this way with Peacock. He gets the offload away, and that was unfortunate. Great read from Dobson, but he couldn't take the ball in. He sensed that the England skipper, the former Bradford Bullman, was going to offload. He did, but Dobson couldn't collect the ball. It's those cold fingers. Can't emphasise enough how cold it must be out there, not only for the players but the spectators also really do deserve some credit for turning up for this game this evening. So Rovers once again with defending to do. The Rhinos, will it be third time lucky? The ball's out, it's with Carl Ablett. Ablett scoots but can't break his way between the two-man tackle. Here come the Rhinos once again. It's Sinfield. He dummies. Could have been a Shepherd perhaps, but Phil Bentham says play on. Good defence there by Graham Horne. There's another penalty against the Robins. Rhys Lovegrove's defending infield when Leeds have possession. Leeds are trying to catch Rovers unawares. They've gone for the short restart, and that's a reach over and a score from Brett Delaney. You have to say Rovers should have prevented that, but on just under 6 minutes of play, those mistakes by Hulkingston Rovers have finally paid for the Rhinos. It's the opening score of the season for the Rhinos. The scorer is Brett Delaney, and the Leeds Rhinos lead the Robins by 4 points to 0. When Delaney took that pass in, it looked as though Rovers had enough cover to keep him out. He's a powerful guy, formerly a centre of course, but he managed to reach over Sinfield with the first conversion attempt of the evening, and surprisingly he's put that wide. That's good news for Rovers. That could be costly at the outcome of this game, so it should have been a 6-point advantage to Leeds. It's only 4-0. And Rovers will have a chance now to pin the Leeds Rhinos back inside their own half. That will be an early shock to the Robins, going down to that try from Delaney, but a long way to go. Craig Hall gets us back underway. It's a long high kick, well taken by Danny Maguire, I have to say. He just pops the ball in field to Lee Smith, and the Leeds Rhinos will look to bring the ball out of their own end once again. There's a mistake. It was a forced mistake as well. Look at that great enthusiasm and encouragement the Rovers players are showing each other. Big shot went in, the ball was spilled, and following that Delaney try, immediately Rovers have the chance to hit back. It was Callum Watkins who lost the ball. So what have Rovers got in response to that try? Craig Hall fires the ball to the former Newcastle Knight, Shannon McDonnell. Good work in defence by the Rhinos. They've driven the fullback back a couple of metres. Here come the Robins again. Mickey Payer off the drop-off pass of Scott Morrell. 20 metres out from the Rhinos try line. Hall taking charge once again. Dobson, he goes through the half gap. It was quickly closed down by Watkins. Rovers, they'll go to the open side with Clinton. Good work from Clinton. Fantastic offload. Rovers have numbers. It's David Hodgson in the left-hand corner. He has to cut back inside. Rovers are just 2 or 3 metres short of that try line. They're trying to pinch one, and they've got it of the Robins. It's a try for Graham Horn. Opportunist try by the Rovers' second row man, and that Delaney try is cancelled out in the matter of minutes. 9 minutes gone. Graham Horn scores in the colours of the Robins, and it's 4 points all. That try came on the back of that great defensive work by the Robins, and well, if that Brett Delaney try, if we thought that was going to put Rovers into the shell, how mistaken were we? Great response. Dobson now has the opportunity to edge Rovers into the lead. He's 20 metres out. He's around 5 metres in from touch. The Robins fans behind the post will let us know, but that one has fallen short. So, as you were, it's the Leeds Rhinos 4, Hull Kingston Rovers 4, but what a great start to this opening Super League game of 2012. So Leeds restarts. It's a high kick, it's collected safely by the Robins, and here's the big man, Mickey Payer. Be looking for the likes of Payer and Clinton to really drive Rovers downfield and make the hard yards. We've got some real craft in the shape of Lincoln Withers now at hooker. He really does offer some good direction. Here he is again. Morrell, short pass. Good shot goes in from Delaney from the Rhinos. Rovers midway inside their own half. To come to the left-hand side. Ball back inside to the try scorer. Horn is driven back by a couple of Leeds men. Peacock came in for good measure, and it really did force the slow play of the ball. Oh, Mickey Payer just slipped into that tackle. Hopefully It's not injured him because the conditions are not good out there. The pitch is very firm. Dobson takes a clattering after that kick from Carl Ablett. The kick is fielded by Brent Webb. He pops the ball inside to Ryan Hall. It looks as though Hall was lifted then by the Robins, but referee Bentham says play on. Ryan Bailey, oh, great shot. Con Meeker just said, there you go, Ryan, have some of that. So Leeds still have possession. They're inside their own half by 12 metres. Rovers defending on the halfway line. Peacock, what a great player this man has been, and what a great player he is still. He's taken Leeds to a metre from halfway. Burrow crosses halfway. I think he was trying to steal the penalty, but nothing doing, says the referee. On the last. That one will go high from the boot of Sinfield. It's not the best kick. Hodgson may be content to let that one go dead. Indeed he is. So Rovers, they have possession once again in the shape of Chris Wellham. 4 men in attendance at the tackle. Rovers only been down the Leeds end once and they came away with a try, so that will fill them with confidence. Certainly Dobson and Hall look as though they want to get the ball wide at every opportunity. The step into the two-man tackle was by Morrell. Rovers are looking to cross halfway now. Dobson, will it be the kick? No, he brings in the big man. He offloads. It's with McDonnell. He beats one man, gets the ball to Wellham. Wellham dummies, cuts inside, was looking for the return pass to McDonnell. That's good play, that should be a penalty. Phil Bentham tells Chris Wellham to get back to his feet. Oh, good drive from Clinton. Superb work by the Rovers prop forward. He's still driving forward. It's a quick play, the ball. The kick is by Dobson. Leeds are having to scramble back in the shape of Lee Smith. He runs the ball dead, and Rovers, they have a repeat set. That was a fantastic set of 6 by the Robins. They worked hard. They really did put the game plan into fruition then, and it's resulted with Leeds having to return the ball to the Robins. So Sinfield drives the ball away from his own try line. It's bouncing around. Craig Hall takes it comfortably. Here's big Mickey Payer. Big collision with the Leeds defensive line. Big, strong man. What an exciting signing he's been for the Rovers faithful. Here's another big man, Jake Webster. Comes in field, plays the ball. Withers then, once again, finds Hall. Hall looks for support, finds Scott Morrell. Morrell with a good offload. Rovers have got numbers. Can they keep the ball alive? Good ball from Con Meeker. Lovegrove just tries to run over the top of Ryan Hall. Not much to choose in terms of stature between those two. Payer once again. Rovers looking dangerous. Craig Hall's taking on the line. Drop off pass to his former Hull FC teammate Graham Horn. Rovers are looking dangerous with ball in hand. Can they score their second try of the game? Hall is looking to do so. Hall is looking to do so. It's still bouncing around, but Kingston Rovers have knocked that ball forward, is the decision of Phil Bentham. But Craig Hall, in this standoff role, he was named on the right wing on the team sheet, but I think most people knew he would be coming inside when the Robins were in possession, and he's causing Leeds 1 or 2 problems. So Leeds now, they have possession just 10 metres away from their own post. They'll drive the ball up, but good defensive work by Hull Kingston Rovers. Aggression shown by Lovegrove and Payer. Can they force the error? Well, Leeds are just trying to pass the ball around the outside of Hull Kingston Rovers without making the hard yards. Not a good tactic in my mind, but, well, look at the enthusiasm from the Robins. Leeds are already running out of tackles in this set and have hardly made any metres forward, and that was almost a mistake. Hall did well to take that in on that far side, but Leeds don't look comfortable. That try from Hull Kingston Rovers has rocked the Rhinos, the reigning champions. The kick is by Danny Maguire. David Hodgson, good take. He'll take the ball up towards the halfway line. This is a good place for Rovers to be. Tackles in the bank, a full set. And the Rhinos will be defended inside their own half as Shannon McDonald does cross halfway. The tackle completed by Watkins and by Sinfield. Quick play the ball. Withers finds Chrissy Wellham. Wellham just carries two Leeds men forward by another 8 metres or so. Withers is there once again. It's a slower play the ball. Here's Dobson. Dobson, look, he wants a runner. It's a poor ball. Craig Hall needs to make sure he picks that up. In fact, it was picked up by Jake Webster, so a sloppy loose pass by Rovers cost them all momentum, but they still do have possession. Here's Scott Taylor for the Robins. Big drive forward. On the last, says Phil Bentham. It's with Dobson. He goes high. He was almost clattered once again by Ablett. That will bounce. It will stay in. Oh, and Rovers nearly benefited from that. And the touch judge behind the goal, the in-goal judge, is saying that that's a dropout. Leeds are complaining. Phil Bentham's having absolutely none of it. Rob Burrow was the man who had to put the ball dead. Shannon McDonald was the chaser. And Rovers have their second dropout of the game. Repeat set number 2. Here we go. It's collected by Lovegrove. He charges in at the Rhinos' defence. He skips round the outside of one. It was Zach Hardacre wearing number 4 who didn't really fancy Reece Lovegrove bearing down on him then. But dare I say it, once Rovers are in this type of field position against the side like Leeds, they do need to make it count. Here's Hall, finds Dobson. Dobson short pass. That pass was never on to Graham Horn. Leeds have taken the spilled ball. There's been no advantage. But Phil Bentham is going to tell that. Oh, and then the penalty is silly play from Scott Morrell. Should have just cleared the ruck. No need to give penalties away when Leeds are only 10 metres away from their own line. Scott Taylor's on. I do believe that Joel Clinton is the man who's left the field. An early change. Well, we have played 18 and a half minutes. That really has flown by. Hulkingston Rovers and the Leeds Rhinos are locked together at 4 points all. The Rhinos have possession. Peacock just drives in. 3 white shirts meet him. The tackle completed by Conmika. Maguire drop off pass finds Bailey. Bailey makes a half break. Completed in the tackle by the big man Mickey Payer once again. Here's Sinfield, wants runners. He finds Brett Webb from fullback. He moves the ball wide to Watkins. Watkins watched all the way by Chris Wellham, and Wellham takes him down. But Leeds are approaching the danger zone once again. Oh, and there's a spilled ball by Delaney. The cheers go up from the Hulkingston Rovers fans. And, well, for the first time in something like 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, the Rhinos were down in the danger zone of the Robins, and they came up with the error. Both sets of players just taking the opportunity to get some air into the lungs. This is where all the pre-season work really is tested in the heat of battle. Withers ships the ball out, and the first drive in this set is by Wellham. Withers once again, strong run by Morrell, but runs straight into the tackle of Watkins. Quick play the ball again. I tell you what, Dobson, had he shipped that ball, there was opportunities. He stepped, and had he not stumbled, Rovers may have made some real progress down the centre of the field. That looked a high one on Taylor. The Rovers fans, they called for it, but nothing doing, says the referee. Wheeldon now drives in strongly to Scott Wheeldon. He's taken Rovers back to within 30 metres of the Rhinos try line once again. The ball is kicked high by Dobson. Lee Smith is underneath it. Wellham's underneath it, but great take by Lee Smith. He rose high, his eyes never left the football, and he took it in safely. But this is where Rovers want to play this game. And Rovers have forced the error once again. Scott Wheeldon and Lincoln Withers were the two men in attendance at that tackle. The ball's come loose and Rovers have a scrum and 6 tackles just a metre to the left hand side of the Rhinos posts and only 10 metres out from the Rhinos try line. Opportunity beckons for the Robins. It's out, it's with Shannon McDonnell, steps, cuts inside, 2 men just halt his momentum, but this is where Rovers need to really ask questions of the Leeds defence. Dobson pops the ball into Wheeldon, he drives, Leeds defending the line stoutly so far. Rovers attack the left again, Dobson steps, but that was a good defensive read by the Rhinos. Danny Maguire, in fact it was Sinfield, but Rovers again, this quick play the ball allows Scott Taylor to make progress. He's just 2 metres out from that try line. Lincoln Withers, will it be the kick? No, he links up the play. Craig Hall goes for the gap. Craig Hall has lost the football. It was a steal, says Phil Bentham. So more defending to do for the Rhinos. We've played 22 minutes in this game. Rovers having a great spell of pressure. So we'll go once again. Morrell gets us moving. Taylor with the drive in. Lincoln Withers has been the best player for Rovers so far for me in this game. Once again he finds Craig Hall. Oh, great pass from Hall. Clever hands to Wheeldon. Wheeldon's only a metre shy of that line. You have to credit the Rhinos' defence. Rovers now, they've got numbers, have they? They have if McDonald can keep linking up with the play like that. Good defence by the Rhinos once again. Rovers having a great spell, but they haven't cracked the Rhinos for a second time at this moment. Rovers just need to be careful they don't lose the ball one-on-one. Scott Wheeldon. Morrell straightens up the play. Can he get the offload away? No, because the blue and yellow shirts of the Leeds Rhinos wrap him up directly underneath the post. Last tackle, Dobson kick, Wellham chase. It evades everyone. The cheers of relief from the Leeds Rhinos, but Rovers have to be careful now because Leeds are looking for the quick restart. It's Ryan Hall. Leeds fans want the penalty for offside. Phil Bentham, he's happy to let play continue. Ryan Bailey sent crashing to the floor. There's Jamie Jones Buchanan. What a big shot that was from Lovegrove. Rovers are really hurting the Leeds Rhinos. Lifted and dumped. Great defence by the Robins. Intensity, desire and strength. That's what Rovers are showing. That's a clever kick by the Rhinos. McDonnell will need to play that one. Oh, and he's lost the ball. On his where it was just in the in-goal area. That's unfortunate for Shannon McDonnell. But that just shows Rovers have had lots of pressure in the Leeds 20 in the last 10 minutes or so. They didn't make it pay, and now the Leeds Rhinos will have the opportunity to pin Hulkingston Rovers back inside their own half of the field once again. The dropout is by Hall. It bounces awkwardly, but Webb takes it in. Big roar goes up as Kylie Lulai meets the tackle of Scott Wheeldon. Sinfield finds Carl Ablett. He tries to put footwork on, almost loses his shorts, the second row man. Penalty, says Phil Bentham. Once again, Rovers are messing around at the play of the ball. Leeds, credit to them, they're going to go for the 4 points rather than the easy 2. So Luluai takes the Rhinos to 5 metres out, dead centre underneath the post. Maguire, those numbers out wide, but Rovers did well. They moved inside, set up that defensive pattern, and it nullified the attack. So they'll switch the play from left to right once again. Ablett just needs to lose his legs because he was almost spinning away from the 2-man tackle then. Sinfield, oh, flat pass, great defence there by Rovers. May well have been Graham Horn, indeed it was. Sinfield, he just delayed releasing that ball, tries to free the ball carrying arm, but the Rhinos are on the last tackle. Burrow, will he scoot? He finds Maguire. Maguire with the clever kick. Oh, and the Leeds Rhinos have got there first. It's Brent Webb. He swooped on that ball. The Rhinos score their second try of the evening, and they've gone back into the lead. The clever kick from Danny Maguire on the last tackle, and Brent Webb got there first. The Rhinos lead by 8 points to 4. Well, that's what champion sides do. They soak up pressure and they come back and respond, and that's what the Rhinos did. Kept Rovers out for a good 2, 3, 4 sets. Unfortunately, that mistake from Shannon McDonnell comes back to haunt the Robins. Sinfield is just to the left-hand side of the post. This time it safely sails between. The Rhinos now lead by 10 points to 4, but Rovers can be encouraged by their performance in this opening 27 minutes or so. That try came on the 26th minute, but Rovers very much in this game. So Craig Hall once again with the restart. It's long, it's high, it's fielded by Maguire, and he just pops the ball up to the willing runner, who is Kylie Luluai. Rovers set defensively once again. Oh, big shot goes in on Ryan Bailey. It was from Con Mika. Those two are having a good contest out there. Rovers need to be careful they don't concede the penalty. Don't want to be giving away any cheap yards, as Jones Buchanan with his, well, looks to be a now shaven head of his, had some strange haircuts over the years as Jamie Jones, but not this season. Here we go once again. The dummy runner was Bailey. Into the line comes Delaney. He's looking for the offload. Can't do so. Rovers have contained Leeds to within 4 metres of halfway. The kick from Sinfield is measured. It's low. It bounces kindly for Craig Hall. Craig Hall sets off and runs at the 3-man tackle over on that left-hand side of the Rhinos' defence, where Zach Hardacre completes the tackle. Here's Jake Webster. Not seen too much of Jake Webster with ball in hand. Made his debut for Rovers here back in 2008. Scored 2 tries that evening. What would Rovers do for a repeat of that? But not the same scoreline. The Rovers went down that evening by 20 points to 12. Well, Leeds looked all offside then. Scott Taylor had only just took that ball in when he was immediately tackled. Here come Rovers now. Josh Hodgson, he's on. Rovers fans wanting something there. Not coming forward from Phil Bentham, so the kick comes in from Dobson. Cleanly taken by Brent Webb. Changes direction, runs into the tackle, and the Rhinos are around 20 metres away from their own line. Ryan Hall just shakes off 1 or 2 would-be defenders. He's looking to offload. That's sloppy from Rovers. Leeds are dangerous in open play. Sinfield just ducks his head, sucks in 3 defenders before the tackle was eventually completed by Scott Wheeldon. Looked as though there was a slight knock-on then as Sinfield played that ball. Play is allowed to continue. Burrow brings in Delaney. Delaney, once again, he always looks as though he's capable of releasing that ball, but he was tackled just on halfway by Taylor. Maguire, ball back on the inside. Haraki breaks the line. He's got support. McDonald takes him down, but Rovers are scrambling once again. Reece Lovegrove looks in all sorts of problems. He can't get back. The kick is towards the corner. It's taken by the Rhinos. They've kept the ball alive. The kick downfield is taken by Rovers. It's grounded, says Phil Bentham. The Rhinos fans thought they'd scored. Rovers really were hanging on for dear life then. Reece Lovegrove doesn't look comfortable. There's another Rovers man receiving attention too. It looks as though it may be Josh Hodgson, and he's limping. And well, he did have that ankle injury from the pre-season game at the KC Stadium, so perhaps that's not good news for Josh Hodgson. May just try to run it off. But while Rovers are only one score behind, this game is very much up for grabs. We're into the final 9.5 minutes of this first half. Still, Rhinos have the advantage by 10 points to 4. So the Rhinos are coming once again. Haraki, it was his break that almost set up another try then for the Rhinos. Both him and Carl Ablett have made good bursts in this game, so Rovers need to be careful as Maguire just teases his way into a half gap. Eventually it was closed, but the penalty goes against Konmika. Phil Bentham is going to have a word with Michael Dobson, the Rovers skipper. I think he's going to say that that's one too many. Rovers are just guilty of trying to slow this Leeds play the ball down. You can see the Robins are about to bring Mickey Payer back onto the field. It will be interesting to see if it's either Lovegrove or Josh Hodgson who leave the field. Both seem to be struggling as the Rhinos waste no time getting back underway. Rovers now, can they repel this latest attack? They're only a few metres away. Sinfield links with Brent Webb. Here's Callum Watkins, steps inside Dobson. It had to be good work from Graham Horn, and it was, but Rovers are looking vulnerable to a third Leeds try now, it has to be said. Delaney just goes straight. Lovegrove clings on for dear life, as does Scott Wheeldon. Eventually Wheeldon pins him to the floor. That's allowed Rovers to set the defensive line once again. Sinfield linked with Maguire. Early kick. McDonald, he gets that ball, he has to run it dead. Sensible option. The Leeds chase was a good one, and all the pressure now is coming from Brian McDermott's men. Rovers, with just 8 minutes of this first half remaining, really are under the cosh. They need to try and go into the half-time interval no more than 6 points down. It'd be fantastic if they can score their second try of the evening. Phil Bentham has stopped the timekeeper as Rovers get us back underway once again. It's a kick, a high kick from Craig Hall. Luluai, big shot, runs into 3 Rovers men, but the Rhinos are only 30 metres out from that try line. That looks slightly forward as Daryl Griffin comes onto the ball, making his Super League debut for the Rhinos, the former Huddersfield Giants and Wakefield Trinity man. Maguire now with Sinfield. Rovers look vulnerable. Oh, good work by Hall on that far side. Halted the run of Hardacre. Here's Jones Buchanan. He goes low, trying to just drive his way towards the line. Scrappy play the ball. Leeds keeping the ball alive. It's gone loose, and Rovers had half a chance of dropping on that, but Leeds regather possession in the shape of Webb. And well, have Rovers been caught napping? Yes, they have. Rob Burrow almost scores over in that left-hand corner. It was like a rabbit down a hole. Then was the Leeds hooker, as he is this evening. He must have got over the line, did he? Well, what's the decision of Phil Bentham? Yep, turnover. Hull Kingston Rovers have possession. What they can't afford to do now is make any mistakes. Only a couple of metres out from their own line. They need to get to halfway, and Dobson needs to put that ball deep. That's good work by Josh Hodgson, made around a 10-metre gain then, despite Three Rhinos defenders being up in his face, but now it's the turn of the Rhinos to show some aggression in defence. Rovers now with Wellham not being given any real running opportunities so far. Rumoured to be on the hit list of the Rhinos during the close season, but as said earlier, has decided he wants to remain a Robin for a long time. Hall needs to put some real purchase on this ball, and the chase needs to be good because it's collected on the fly by Ryan Hall. He steps inside Jake Webster, but fortunately the reinforcements were there. Looks as though there's a Rovers man just taken a knock. It's Con Mika, but Leeds now are on halfway. Sinfield directs operations. That was, well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. It could have been a forward pass, flat at best. Burrow goes short. Maguire just tries to bring in the runner on the inside, who is Jones Buchanan. He gets a fairly quick play of the ball. It's left a gap for Rob Burrow. That's gone loose from the Rhinos. It's gone backwards, says Phil Bentham. Picked up by Brett Delaney. And if he can get the ball wide, the Leeds Rhinos had a 2-on-1. Rovers are screaming that should have been their ball, but we're on the last tackle. Can Rovers keep the Rhinos out once again? They've allowed Sinfield to kick. It's taken by Lee Smith. That's gone loose. Wellham scoops the ball up, and Josh Hodgson is the man leading the counter-attack for the men from MS3 Craven Park. We have just 4.5 minutes remaining in this half. It has to be a safe set from Rovers. They need the ball up the jumper, they need to get to halfway, and they need some field position. A penalty would be nice, Mr. Bentham, but there you go. Perhaps we're hoping for too much. Rovers now, they're around 15 metres from halfway. Don't seem to have the same direction as Lincoln Withers offered them in that opening 20, but Josh Hodgson's certainly not to blame for that. He's really working hard since he come on. Perhaps Rovers had more possession in that opening 20. Hodgson again, crosses halfway. Dobson wants a runner, finds Graham Horn, shimmies, runs into the two-man tackle. It's on the last. Hall goes to the sky. It's turned Brent Webb around. A kind bounce here would be good. And the Rovers got the kind bounce. And it's another repeat set for Rovers. That's lifted the fans, it's lifted the players. And well, Phil Bentham needs to stop the time because Leeds are in absolutely no hurry to get this game back underway. We have 3 minutes, 12 seconds remaining, and eventually Phil Bentham does stop the timekeeper. 3 minutes 9. Can Rovers steal a try? They've been under the cosh for the last 10 minutes. Really has swung one way then the other in terms of territory and ball in hand. Rovers need to be safe. They are. They collect. Just set up the position, Hulkingston Rovers. That will be the call. Leeds are trying to drive them towards the touchline, but they're only 30 metres out now from that try line. The ball comes inside. A big Mickey Payer is looking for the offload. He gets it. And Rovers are keeping the ball alive with Josh Hodgson. He has to take the tackle. Had the opportunity to offload. Aggression against him from Paul McShane. Here's Dobson now. Looking for the gap. Goes through the gap, does Dobson. Met by the tackle of Webb. Just 18 metres or so from that try line. Hall fired past to Wellham. He was looking to get the ball to Hodgson, who would have had a walk in, but great pressure now from the red and whites. Graham Horn once again. He's done it again. He's done it again. It's a replica try for Graham Horn. He scored his second try of the evening, and Rovers have pegged the Rhinos back. It's the Leeds Rhinos 10, Hulkingston Rovers 8. Leeds didn't learn their lesson, and Graham Horn has punished the champions. What a great response by Rovers. They were really under the cosh. It looked as though the Rhinos were ready to post their third try of the evening. But that high kick from Craig Hall caused all sorts of problems for Brent Webb. Rovers got possession from the restart and they've gone in for their second try, and Dobson now has his second conversion of the evening. He's trying to swing it round. Not got his kicking boots on so far, hasn't Michael Dobson? Second unsuccessful conversion of the evening. But with just a minute or so from the half-time interval, Rovers are only 2 points down on the scoreboard. It's the Rhinos 10, the Robins 8, and Craig Sandercock will be very, very encouraged by this performance. I'm sure he'll be looking to put one or two things right in the dressing rooms at half-time, but Rovers are well in this game. They've taken the restart cleanly. They can't afford to make a silly mistake. There's just 30 seconds remaining in this first half. It's with big Mickey Payer once again. This time he can't make too many metres forward. He was halted by the tackle of Brett Delaney. Rovers now with Josh Hodgson. Hodgson needs to hold that ball safely. We're into the final 10 seconds of this first half. Will Rovers try and put a move on? They're trying to with Con Meeker. Great pass from Craig Hall. That may be the final tackle of the first half. There it is indeed. Phil Bentham gives the signal that that first 40 minutes of Hull Kingston Rovers season has come to an end, and what a good first half it's been. The Rhinos, they started the game well. They drew first blood. 6 minutes of play. Rovers making some mistakes in defence, set up the position, and Brett Delaney, well, he powered his way towards the line. Looked as though he may be held up, but he reached over to give the Rhinos the lead. 4 points to nil. The conversion from Sinfield, well, for a kicker of his calibre, should have been relatively simple. He missed it. It was just a 4-point advantage to the Leeds Rhinos. Well, how would Rovers respond? Well, I'll tell you how. They responded superbly. Graham Horne went in for his first try in the Rovers colours. Rovers did well to march Leeds back upfield towards their own try line. The ball was played only a couple of metres out from that try line, and Graham Horne, well, you can only best describe it as opportunist. He powered over. Dobson missed the conversion, and we were tied up at 4 points all. Rovers then had a very good spell of pressure, around 10 minutes or so, where they had the Rhinos penned back inside their own half, but they couldn't make it pay. The Rhinos showed what a good side they are. They responded to that pressure on the last tackle. The inch-perfect kick from Danny Maguire was swooped upon by Brent Webb. He scored, Sinfield converted, and the Rhinos led by 10 points to 4. They then peppered the Rovers line, it seemed, but couldn't break the Robins for the third time. And then, well, it was a carbon copy. Graham Horne, a couple of metres out from the Rhinos line, scoots over, gets the ball down. Dobson once again unsuccessful with the conversion, but a 2-point ball game. I'm sure Rovers are more than happy at this moment in time. At half time, it's the Leeds Rhinos 10, Hull Kingston Rovers 8. Welcome back to HullKR.TV. Welcome back to the Headingley Carnegie Stadium, where at half time it's the champions, the Leeds Rhinos, leading Hull Kingston Rovers by 10 points to 8. 2 tries apiece. Just one conversion more by the boots of Kevin Sinfield, separating the two sides. But Rovers really have played well in this game. They've had to scramble defensively at times, as you would expect, but they've also caused the Leeds Rhinos one or two problems of their own. So Phil Bentham comes to the centre spot. The Robins are going to be defending the Western Terrace, where the army of fans, I'm sure, are mightily impressed from what they've seen so far in this opening 40 minutes. So Craig Hall is the man to get this second half underway. He strikes the ball cleanly. It's high, it's hanging, it's a difficult one for the Rhinos to take, but eventually they did, in the shape of fullback Brent Webb, and the Leeds Rhinos will look to drive up to the halfway line once again. Sure, both sets of players and appreciated a warm drink at half-time and the warmth of the dressing rooms, because it is absolutely freezing out here. Rovers are looking to drive Leeds over the touchline as the Rhinos now are on halfway. Into the line they come. That's a loose pass. It was Daryl Griffin with the loose one, picked up by Wella Haraki, the former Crusader. Tries to skip away from the tackle of Con Mika, but can't do so. Webb switches to the short side. Jones Buchanan takes on the defensive line of Jake Webster and Con Mika. He gets a good offload away. It's allowed Sinfield a space to run into. He offloads to Daryl Griffin on the last tackle. First question of the second half may well be asked to Rovers here. They're going to run it. It's a 2-on-2. Rovers just need to watch the ball carrier. He flicks a good ball inside, but the Rhinos unable to take that one in. And Rovers, well, they'll get their first use of the ball in this second half now. The scoot from dummy half is by David Hodgson. Not seen too much of the ball, so encouraging that he's coming in looking for work. Rovers go short side. Josh Hodgson just tries to ghost his way between three defenders, can't do so. Leeds are all over the ball carrier then as he tried to play the ball. It should have been a penalty. Phil Bentham just allowed the play to continue. For me, that was rather fortuitous for Leeds. Here's Morell now, finds Hall, good pass to Jake Webster, running opportunity for Reece Lovegrove. He's shepherded out by the Leeds Rhinos. It was Danny Maguire who didn't commit, in fairness. I think Reece should have just tried to run over the top of him. Not renowned for his defence, Danny Maguire. Maguire just simply showed Lovegrove the touchline. And Reece was trying to get ball back inside to Jake Webster, who he was covered, in fairness. I think I would have liked to have seen Reece just trample Danny Maguire into the dirt then, but wasn't to be. But Rovers have got Leeds back down to the end of the field where they want to play the football. Leeds now will look to clear the ball out. Rovers are hunting the mistake. We've played just 3 minutes of this second half. Rovers defending, but the Rhinos are only 26 metres or so away from their own line. They'll come centre field. Good solid defensive work once again by the Robins, driving the blue and amber shirts back. It was Brett Delaney who was just had a rueful look at the referee then. Here's Jones Buchanan, he's playing well, he's broken the line, he was looking for support. And the tackle was a good one by Hodgson on halfway. Haraki, good ball to Ryan Hall, may have been slightly forward. Rovers are trying to bundle him into touch. They've done so, it's gone loose. Well, the touch judge has said play on as the gingerhead Joe Stokes. That's really gone against Hull Kingston Rovers, that. Not sure if he managed to get the ball in before he'd been bundled out. The touch judge said he had, and it looked as though Jake Webster had possession. He lost it, and the Rhinos get another set of 6. So danger now. Sinfield misses out one man, brings in the runner on the inside, but Rovers have good cover there. The shape of Graham Horn, who really was the man of the moment as far as the fans are concerned. He needs to be again, because the Rhinos are threatening over on that right hand side, the Rovers left. They're only a couple of metres short of the try line. They're trying to steal one. Rovers have got plenty of numbers there, and they're going to carry the Leeds Rhino out, and that will be a 20-metre restart. And that was intelligent football from Hull Kingston Rovers. They didn't panic. They said, if the Leeds man trying to get that ball down, we'll take you out. So they have possession. Here's Wheeldon. Oh, big collision. Big collision. Griffin was in there, as was Haraki. Plays on ball as Wielden. Here's big Mickey Payer once again. He's left one on the floor and he's got the penalty. He wants to quick play the ball, does Big Mickey. What a handful this man is going to be for Super League defences. As Hall found touch, he may have made a mistake. He has made a mistake. He's absolutely filthy with himself, is Craig Hall. Tried to put too much distance, that's gone loose. Play on, says Phil Bentham, lost by Maguire. Rovers do have possession now, and now they've lost the ball, and now they have a penalty. Well, everything seems to happen in that passage of play. Just coming up to 6 minutes played in this second half. Will Rovers take the pot at goal? Dobson's the skipper. He'll be the man making the decisions. They're going to put pressure on the Leeds line. You can see Graham Horn receiving some attention over on that left-hand side. Here's Wielden now. Drives the ball in. Tackle completed by the Rhinos. 22 metres or so out from their try line. Josh Hodgson absolutely monstered, but McDonald's given Jake Webster a running opportunity. Jake Webster forced to take the tackle. They'll come back from right to left, will the Robins. Reece Lovegrove moves the ball inside. Rovers now will take on the line in Mickey Payer. He's looking for the offload, he gets it. Josh Hodgson switches the play. The call came from Craig Hall. He tries to fend off Daryl Griffin. Delaney wraps his body around him. But if Rovers can score now, well, the fans will go absolutely crazy. Here's McDonnell, a chance for Rovers. Wellham's there! Wellham's there! He's in! First try of the season for the Ginger Ninja! And the Robins have hit the lead for the first time in this game. They've made the mistakes from the Rhinos pay. They lead by 12 points to 10. The noise is coming from the Rovers fans. Well, the key to that try was the link-up from Shannon McDonnell. He created the extra man. Leeds were caught in numbers. They didn't know whether to go for McDonnell. They didn't, and Wellham crashed over. Great start to the second half for the Robins. Dobson with a difficult conversion attempt. It's from wide out on the left-hand touchline. Will he silence the Leeds fans? The answer is no. That's no successful kicks for Michael Dobson. Not too many times you'll say that in a game. But Rovers have the lead. They lead by 12 points to 10. The restart's bouncing around. Hall collects and finds Mickey Payer. He runs at Hardacre. They're trying to manoeuvre him towards the touchline, but the big man just goes to ground and then plays the ball. Here's another big man, Con Mika. That's a good penalty as far as Rovers are concerned. Leeds just getting slightly flustered. They did after the opening Graham Horn try in the first half, and they're doing so again. That's a better kick this time from Craig Hall, and Rovers are now 10 metres inside the Rhinos' half of the field. Mika, first drive in, gets a good offload to Jake Webster. He makes another 10 metres on the back of that offload. Hull Kingston Rovers, their tails are really up now. Craig Hall, centre field, 25 metres out. That was forward from Dobson. Can't be biased, that was an absolutely shocking pass from the Rovers scrum half. And well, that's disappointing, because if Rovers had scored again and then Dobson had got his first two-pointer, an 8-point gap in these type of conditions would really have tested the Leeds Rhinos. May still happen, of course, but not on this occasion. So the ball's out and it's with the Rhinos. Can Rovers force the error once again? McShane just tries to get them moving forward, but look at that good defence again by Mickey Payer. It was Jamie Peacock this time, the man who couldn't make too many metres forward. Oh, and that's gone loose and Rovers have got it. The South stand underneath my commentary position, which houses the army of the Leeds Rhinos fans. They're not happy because Rovers are starting to boss this game. We're into the final half an hour. Josh Hodgson is trying to tease a gap. Can't beat the tackle of Wella Haraki. Peacock comes in and really puts a big shot in on the Rovers substitute. Here's Jordan Cox now. Leeds won't know too much about this young man. May work to the Robins' advantage. He plays the ball 22 metres out. Hall now. Good ball. Good link up with Dobson. It's gone loose. Graham Horn, the man guilty of spilling the ball. Hard to be critical of a man whose 2 tries have hauled Rovers back into this game. But I may say this once or twice during the season, if you are going to cough up possession, that's about the best place to do it. It means you can't concede, because the Rhinos have around 80 metres to work upfield. The ball's out. It's into the hands of Lee Smith, but he was met by a solid shot from Lovegrove. The head rocked back. Jones Buchanan, I'd say he's been one of Leeds' best players this evening, if not the best. Mickey Payer just needs to clear the ruck. Can't afford to give any penalties away. Leeds have got numbers. Wellham just halts the momentum of Delaney momentarily. He makes Sue within a couple of metres of halfway. Here's Peacock once again, leading by example. The Rhinos are 8 metres inside Rovers territory. It's Burrow now with Maguire. That 1-2 over the years has really paid dividends for the Rhinos. Hardacre evades one man, evades another man. He tries to offload. He needs to be brought down. There's not much of Zach Hardacre, but he's a strong lad. They're trying to catch Rovers napping. Maguire, has he got that ball down? Phil Bentham's going toward this, I think, because it looks as though the in-goal touch judge may say, oh, that's good news for Rovers. Just for 1 second, I thought that was going to be awarded, but Danny Maguire was shepherded out. It looked as though he may have just reached over, but no, he hit the touchline first, and Rovers have survived. We've played around 53 and a half minutes of this game. Rovers have possession and they have the lead. Good ball from Hall to Dobson. Missed out pass, a running opportunity. Infield comes David Hodgson. He beats one man, tries to beat the second. Good play by Rovers. They spotted that Leeds had gaps in the defensive line. Here's Graham Horn once again. Takes a big shot, but he stands his ground, keeps to his feet, plays the ball. Hodgson once again. It's with Morell. He just simply carries the ball into the 3-man tackle. Now then, Craig Hall or Dobson, which is the option? It's with Dobson. Will he go for the power play? It's collected by Wellham. Wellham's going for the line. Oh, and Chrissy Wellham perhaps should have looked for David Hodgson. Hodgson would have pinned his ears back, and Hodgson's a great finisher. You have to say that was more than a half chance for Hulkingston Rovers, but they still hold this slender advantage of 12 points to 10. Offside, says Phil Bentham. May well have been Mickey Payer, the man who shot out of the line then to put the big hit on. Ironic cheers from the Leeds fans, but their side now have possession just 5 metres from halfway, and Burrow gets us going once again. He's JJB, crosses halfway. Mika with the tackle. Burrow now goes centre field, finds Ryan Bailey. He links up the play. Haraki off the short pass of Danny Maguire. Rovers being taken back a decent 10 by Bentham as the Rhinos play the ball, and Burrow scoots once again. Peacock looking for the offload. He's achieved it. Danger for Rovers. It's Zach Hardacre tries to step around Jake Webster. Easier said than done as the big Rovers centre knocks him to the floor, but Jones Buchanan once again is carrying the fight to Hull Kingston Rovers. Can Rovers repel this Leeds attack once again? They'll move the ball in field. It's with Maguire. Ball back inside to Jamie Peacock. He wanted to offload again. Rovers wouldn't allow him to do so. The scoot from Burrow. Oh, it was greedy. It was greedy, you have to say, from a player of the experience of Rob Burrow. But Rovers, they're not complaining, as aren't the supporters. Their team has possession once again. Rovers now having to work the ball out their own end. They're only 10, 12 metres or so away from their own try line. You can see that Joel Clinton's back onto the field for Rovers. I think it may be Big Mickey who's taken a breather. Here is Clinton. Good solid take and a good solid drive. That's the kind of leadership that Rovers need going into the final quarter of this game. Hodgson, Leeds are offside there. Oh, come on, Mr. Bentham. That should have been a penalty. But nothing doing, and Rovers are on the last. Hall is trying to run it. Great ball. McDonald into space. Kicks over the top. The chase is on. Dobson's going for the ball. And it beats the defence and the attack of Michael Dobson. Jamie Jones Buchanan's down for Leeds, still in Rovers' half of the field. Doesn't look too comfortable either. That will be a big blow for the Rhinos. It would have been a bigger blow if Rovers had scored then. Oh, and Josh Hodgson's just been conned by Lee Smith. Should have got his arms free, didn't do so. But Jamie Jones Buchanan is in all sorts of problems for the Rhinos. He has been a standout performer for the champions this evening, and he is being escorted from the field. Just around 22 and a half minutes remaining of this game. 12 points to 10 the Robins lead. And well, what could be crucial, Michael Dobson has been unsuccessful with all three try conversions. Had he popped those over, Rovers would have had an 8 points advantage, but that's not a criticism. They've all been difficult kicks and in very difficult conditions also. The penalty is dispatched into touch by the boot of Sinfield. Here comes Carl Ablett. Made that one good break in the first half, but not seen too much of him since. Rovers need to clear the road. They haven't done so. Whoa, Carl Ablett's squaring up to Graham Horn. And I'm sure Carl Ablett just popped his head into the face of Graham Horn then. If he did, he should be leaving the field. It's as simple as that. It's been calmed down. Phil Bentham's going to take some advice from the touch judge, Peter Brook. There's certainly some interference at the play of the ball from Rovers. Graham Horn is being spoken to. Doesn't look as though anything's going to happen to Carl Ablett, which it will be disappointing because Ablett did respond. Well, Jamie Peacock's been called over. I think that may just be for running in. And surprisingly, the main perpetrator gets away scot-free. There you go, Leeds immediately launch the attack once again. Rovers really do have to muscle up now. The Rhinos, they're lifting their game. It's with Maguire, spins the ball wide, there's an overlap. Brent Webb finds Hardacre, he cuts back inside, and the cover's there for the Robins. But the Rhinos are only 10 metres out from the try line. Haraki draws in the defence and pops the ball out. Maguire over the top. It's a throw-in for Callum Watkins. He's got the ball down. Phil Bentham is going to award the try. Well, he hasn't awarded it yet. Eventually he has. And the Leeds Rhinos, with 21 minutes of this game remaining, they've gone back into the lead once again. Rovers were caught out by the long ball over the top, and Callum Watkins, this highly rated young centre, he just simply powered onto the ball. Rovers didn't have enough cover there, and the Rhinos lead by 14 points to 12. One or two questions may be asked about the Ablett incident with Graham Horn in the lead up to that try, but it's been awarded, and Sinfield now is looking to edge the Rhinos advantage to 4 points. He's wide out on the right hand touchline, looks good. Oh, it's just crept over. Great conversion from Sinfield. The Rhinos do lead this game now by 16 points to 12. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be an absolutely belting final 20 minutes or so. So the Rhinos collect the restart. Peacock, the man trying to drive Rovers back upfield once again. Ryan Bailey met head on by the tackle of Jordan Cox. Stood his ground well, did the young man. Burrow now moves the ball to the left hand side where Haraki bumps off Hodgson, bumps off Mika, loses the ball. Oh, penalty saves Bentham. What a big decision that could be. Had Rovers taken possession then and responded with another try of their own, that may well have rocked the Leeds Rhinos on their heels, but they now will restart around the halfway line. Here's Delaney, chopped down by the tackle of Reece Lovegrove and Jordan Cox. Burrow once again links with Peacock. Peacock spins away from one tackle. A whole host of Rovers defenders are clambering over the top of the vastly experienced campaigner. There's gaps over on that side. Ablett just stumbles into the tackle, which is completed by the Rovers skipper Michael Dobson. The skip and the shimmy by Rob Burrow. Leeds dangerous once again. They're looking to turn it into a two-score game as far as Rovers are concerned. Maguire tries to skip inside Reece Lovegrove, who clings on for dear life. Just over 18 minutes remain. One tackle remains in this set. Can Rovers keep the champions out? Webb finds Sinfield. Fantastic ball. Hardacre with the wrong option. It should have been taken down. It needs to go dead. Oh, and eventually Rovers are forced to kick the ball dead. Well, Hardacre just must have absolutely amazing footwork, because he should have been absolutely smashed then. He should have sent his winger in fairness. He didn't do so, but he's earned a repeat set against the odds, it has to be said. So Rovers restart yet again through the boots of Craig Hall. Reaches Brent Webb on halfway. Here's Ryan Bailey. Big shot needs to go in. Rovers need to start taking charge and hurting the Rhinos once again. Scrappy play the ball. It's allowed Burrow to scoot off. It needs to be a tackle completion by Dobson. He gets his opposite number down, but only just, it has to be said. They've gone for the power play over on that far side. Oh, and Callum Watkins has absolutely strolled in. That's poor defence from Hull Kingston Rovers. They seemingly had the numbers. Perhaps they were expecting Leeds to move the ball from the right hand side back to the left. It may have been clever play by Ablett. He perhaps sensed that Rovers hadn't got back, and Watkins has scored again. On 63 minutes of play, the Rhinos lead by 20 points to 12, and Rovers may just have seen this game slip away from them now. David Hodgson was left exposed, and when the cover did come across, Callum Watkins stepped off his right foot, scored around 10 metres to the right hand side of the post, and Sinfield has a relatively easy conversion attempt once again. Sinfield posts the extra two, so Rovers now have to score 2 tries if they have any chance of taking anything away from Headingley. Leeds have only lost twice on the opening Super League game of the season. The last one was in the year 2000, so perhaps it was always going to be a tough test for Rovers. Much better performance than last season in those soggy, wet conditions when they really did suffer a heavy defeat. But with 15 minutes left to play, you want this to be a Rovers comeback. What they don't want to see is Leeds start to pull away in this game. So Rovers now muscling up defensively. Conmeek has had a solid game on this right hand edge for the Robins. Ball in field finds Bailey. Penalty, offside. Well, perhaps Rovers just guilty now of chasing the game. Lincoln Withers is on for the Robins. They're going to have to try and throw the kitchen sink at the Rhinos as we are now in the last 15 minutes of this game. But this field position is a godsend for the Rhinos, and Kevin Sinfield just earns his side another 20 metres forward with that kick into touch. Peacock with the first drive in. Here they come once again. Burrow's becoming more influential. Mika comes out the line. Sinfield was looking for the offload, but Rovers did well to scramble in the shape of Cooks and Withers. Here's Maguire, short popped up pass, finds Delaney. He's cut down by the 3-man tackle of the Robins. But Leeds are in the danger zone once again. Sinfield now ships the ball to Brent Webb. He's teasing the Robins. Here's Ablett on the inside pass. Takes 3 red and white shirts to haul him back. Rovers look short of numbers over on that far side, but Leeds come the other way. Delicate kick through, hits the post. Taken by Rovers, fortunately. Had that not hit the post, I think Leeds would have gone in again. Rovers now really could do with a penalty. Those penalties they received at the start of the second half have really dried up, but you have to say that the weight of possession has gone heavily in the favour of the Leeds Rhinos. Offside, that's a good one, and that was well earned by Lincoln Withers. He saw that there was a lazy defender from the Rhinos, ran straight at him, and Phil Bentham duly obliges with the whistle, and Hall punts that safely into touch. So the Robins, once again, they'll try to haul themselves back in this game. If they can score in the next 5 minutes or so, well, they've already proven in the first half that they can score in the final couple of minutes, so this game is not beyond the Robins as yet. Around 12 and a half minutes do remain. Hall ships the ball to Mika, half a gap for the big man, quickly closed down by the Rhinos. It was the smallest man on the field, Robbie Burrow. Hodgson once again steps in field. That's good work by Hodgson. Never takes a step back. Referee needs the call held. And that could have been a penalty, but nothing doing. Dobson now, can he create? Finds Hall. Hall tries to push one man off, gets the offload to Shannon McDonnell. He spins away, gets the offload to Dobson. Rovers spin the ball wide to Mika. There's a 3-on-3. Can the big man take the Leeds defenders on? Hardacre comes in over the top. Rovers now, they really do need to score if they're going to steal anything back in this game. They're on the last tackle. Dobson kicks. Rovers are well weighted on that side. It's a good play. Rovers have got a great chance. David Hodgson for the corner. Has he got the ball down? I think he has. Phil Bentham says yes, and the Rovers fans know that their side once again are back in this game. David Hodgson is a fantastic finisher, and on 68 minutes of play, he's got his side back in the game. Rovers now trail by 22 points to 16. The conversion to come. We are game on once again. So Michael Dobson now virtually on the touchline. 0 from 3. Gives it lots of purchase, but once again he's unsuccessful, is Dobson. But it's only a try and a goal. Come on, Rovers. 10 and a half minutes remain. Still all to play for. So the restart is by the Rhinos. It's an awkward bounce. Call takes the ball in well, and he pops the ball up, and Reece Lovegrove tries to make the hard meters for the Robins, but Leeds have got them inside their own 20. Here's big Mickey Payer. He's the line breaker. He's the man who can bend the line as far as the Robins are concerned. Slow play the ball. Withers finds Dobson. Here's Clinton now. Been impressed with Clinton this evening. Leading by example. He's taken the Robins to only 10 metres from halfway. What would Rovers do now for a line break and the support flooding through? Because the likes of McDonnell and Wellham and Hodgson really are good finishers. Withers now to Dobson. Hall delays the pass, brings in Mika. Mika well held in the tackle by Zach Hardacre. Credit the Leeds youngster, but Rovers are in the danger zone by, well, almost by 10 metres. The kick goes up. Brent Webb's normally safe. He's safe there. He's spun towards his own try line. He plays the ball. Oh, it didn't get to his feet. What's the decision? Oh, he's give it to Leeds. He's give the decision to Leeds. Well, he certainly didn't get to his feet. Was there interference by the Robins? That's a contentious one. Perhaps the replay will be more conclusive. But Leeds have possession, and what a penalty that may have been for Hull Kingston Rovers. Into the final 8.5 minutes. They need possession, but that holy grail of the football is in the hands of the Leeds Rhinos at this moment in time. Two sets of tired players out there, it seems. The Rhinos giving the ball width. Wellham shrugged off, and they've created an overlap, and they've set the wingman running. It's Lee Smith, comes back inside, He gets an offload away, and Leeds are in broken play once again with Sinfield. It goes to ground. Play on, says the referee. Rob Burrow, he got through the gap. MacDonald cuts him down, but the Leeds Rhinos are only 25 metres out. It's with Carl Ablett over on that far side. He drives the ball in towards the tackle of David Hodgson. Leeds looking to kill this game off. What's Phil Bentham seen? Nothing. Play goes on, and the Rhinos have killed them off now. That's a try. It looks as though it's Callum Watkins once again. Hat-trick for the Leeds youngster. So big, so powerful. Rovers couldn't bring him down, and that has surely seen off the challenge of Craig Sandercock's men. Callum Watkins goes in for his hat-trick try, and Rovers trail by 26 points to 16, and we only have 7 minutes remaining. That try on around 63 minutes of play. Correction, it's 73 minutes of play. 73 minutes of play, that try has come on. But, well, it's always going to be a big season for Callum Watkins. Has suffered with injuries throughout his Leeds career. If that's an indication of what he's going to bring to the Super League this season, then boy, he's going to cause some damage. Sinfield again. The flags are raised. 28-16, the champions lead. And surely Rovers now don't have enough time to take the 2 points in this opening clash of the 2012 Stobart Super League season. Rovers went for the short restart. It was claimed by the Rhinos, so Rovers may have some more defending to do once again. There's just under 6 minutes remain, and Danny Maguire makes half a break. He's closed down eventually by Scott Taylor and Reece Lovegrove. Here come the Rhinos with Kylie Luluide, the experienced campaigner brought on just to see this one out now. But you have to say, what a gutsy performance by the Robins. Oh, that's gone loose. Wellham's picked it up, and Phil Bentham is allowing play to go on. So perhaps Rovers will have chance for one final response in this game. It's with Mickey Payer now. He's around 5 metres from halfway. Can't make too many metres forward there. But Rovers do have ball in hand. Dobson finds Hall. Hall, short pass finds Con Mika. Mika looks around his shoulder for the offload, but the pass wasn't on. Withers now just drew in the cover and then found Dobson. Here's Scott Taylor. Been one of Scott Taylor's quieter games, it has to be said, but well, I'm expecting big things from him this season. Here's Hodgson at pace. Tries to bump off the two-man defensive tackle of the Rhinos. Rovers now are 20 metres out. Hall can't find support on that right-hand side. He offloads and it's picked up by Con Mika. A long passing field finds Dobson, and Rovers have got an opportunity here. The kick will be kind for Leeds. It was a good take in fairness by Lee Smith. Just one more bounce, and that may have caused Rovers problems. May have caused Leeds problems, rather. Here's Ryan Hall. Well, how often do you play against the Leeds side and the name of Hall doesn't appear on the try scorers list? Hope I'm not tempting fate with that, because there are still around 3 minutes 50 seconds remaining in this game. Rovers will slip to defeat, but there's lots of things to be positive about, you have to say. Well, the Leeds fans aren't happy with that from Mickey Payer. Rob Burrow was the man on the receiving end. Just a word from Phil Bentham, deemed to be sufficient. And the Leeds, well, in fairness, the Leeds Rhinos players didn't react too badly, and the ball is hammered into touch, and the Rhinos now have crossed halfway once again. 15,343 is the attendance inside Headingley Carnegie. A good attendance as Ablett breaks the line. He looks for support, gets an offload away, and Scott Taylor absolutely cut Rob Bower in half then. Absolutely nailed him. Here's Sinfield. Maguire taking on the defence, fires the ball at pace. Rovers do well to repel that. Hall's defending on the wing once again. The Rhinos have switched the play to the other side. Sinfield, Leeds promoting the ball. Maguire's seen the gap. Maguire's gone in underneath the post. The scoreline will not reflect how tough this game has been, but the Rhinos have pulled away in the end. They now lead by 32 points to 16, and you just have to say that was possibly fatigue on the part of Rovers. They couldn't prevent Leeds from offloading, and eventually the gap opened up, and the standoff, Danny Maguire was the beneficiary. 32-16, and Sinfield is directly underneath the post for the conversion. Sinfield duly converts. 34 points to 16, the Robins trail. And we're now in the dying embers of round one. It's going to be a defeat for the Robins, but a decent enough performance to give the fans plenty of encouragement. So Leeds collects the ball with just 1 minute of this game remaining. Can Rovers just have a final solid 1 minute of play, keeping the Rhinos out? Don't want to see no long distance tries. That's what Leeds are trying to do. This Hardacre just tries to tease the defenders, bumps off Josh Hodgson, eventually goes down under the tackle of Lincoln Withers. Burrow moves the ball inside to Wella Haraki. He's met by the tackle of Scott Taylor. Taylor just gives him a bit of a facial, and the Rhinos get back underway once again. Long ball from Maguire, it's to that danger man Watkins. He links with Lee Smith, he comes back inside. There's around 15 seconds of this game remaining. Perhaps Leeds have one more tackle remaining in which to score. Ablett now just drives in. Rovers are there in numbers, complete the tackle. There goes the final hooter. The cheers of celebration are from the Leeds Rhinos. Perhaps there may be one or two cheers of relief involved in that, because this has been a tough battle. It wasn't perhaps until the 73rd minute try from Callum Watkins, the hat-trick try, that this game finally did slip away from the Robins. Up until then, it had been very much nip and tuck. The Rhinos led at half-time by 10 points to 8. Those tries to Delaney and Brett Webb, the 2 tries to Graham Horn, and then Rovers came out at the start of the second half and really took the fight to the Leeds Rhinos. On 47 minutes, Chris Wellham crashed over for his opening try of the season. Great link-up play from fullback by Shannon McDonnell. Dobson unfortunately unsuccessful with the conversion, but Rovers led by 10 points to 12. But on 59 minutes, Callum Watkins went in for his second try. Watch for a big season from the young Leeds centre. Sinfield converted, and Leeds led again by 16 points to 12. On 63 minutes of play, Watkins went in following poor defence from the Robins. Sinfield converted, and 22-12 the Rhinos led. And you thought, did Rovers have anything left in the bank? Well, yes they did. On the 5th tackle, the ball was kept alive, an overlap was created. David Hodgson pinned his ears back, went for the corner, bravely dived in, levelled. The scores were 22-16. Dobson unfortunately couldn't convert, and you thought, well, perhaps in the final 10 minutes the Robins may come and steal this game. It wasn't to be. Watkins scored his hat-trick on 73 minutes, converted by Sinfield, and then just 2 minutes from the end, Danny Maguire cut inside a tiring Hulkinson Rovers defence. Another successful conversion from Kevin Sinfield, and Craig Sandercock's first game in the Super League in charge of the Robins has ultimately ended in defeat. They've gone down to the Leeds Rhinos by 34 points to 16.